We're going to get into how you solve a quadratic equation. And you're probably wondering, what is a quadratic? A quadratic equation is one in which x squared is your highest power. Okay, so real quick, we're going to review what we've already learned. And if I give you this, x plus 3 times x plus 4, how would you expand that, or how would you solve that? What would you do? You would what? Combine them. How would you combine them? The what? Yeah, what was that called? Do you remember what that was called? The distributive property, yep. And we had a special way of doing the distributive property when I had a binomial and a binomial. Yep, FOIL. Good. So basically I'm going to take first times first, which is what?
X squared.
X squared. And then remember, I was going to take the outer terms and I would get 4x. And then I take the inner terms and I get
3.
And then I take the last terms and I get 12. And then remember, I combined any terms that were like. And so my final answer here would be x squared plus
7.
plus 12. Okay? Now what we're going to do today is we're actually going to be given this right here, and I'm going to be going backwards to this. Okay? We call that factoring. So we're going to go ahead and start. And if you look at this first problem, it's x squared plus 9x plus 20. One of the things that you must always have is it needs to always be in descending form. What that means is that your highest power is first, then your next highest power, then your next highest power. So it's always got to go in that order. So if I look at this, it goes x squared, x, and then a number. So that's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look strictly at the very last number. Okay? And so in this case, I am looking for 2 factors of 20. Now remember what a factor is. It means 2 numbers that multiply to 20. Okay? So 2 factors of 20 that add to 9. So notice how I'm kind of working backwards. 2 factors of 20 that add to 9. So I want you to think about 2 numbers that when I multiply them together, I get 20, but yet then when I add them, I get 9. 5 and 4, good. So then now we're still going to keep working backwards. I need to get a positive 9 from 5 and 4. So if I attach positive or negative signs, how can I get a positive 9 from those 2? What? Yeah, so basically it would be like a positive 5 and a positive 4, right? That gives me a positive 9. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to think back to that very first slide, and that was what my problem was. Okay? Now the very first term in each of these parentheses is going to be how I can get x squared. So I think about, what could I multiply by itself to get x squared? X. So basically I'm going to put an x first in each of those terms. Okay, I finished off. I've worked backwards through the entire problem. The last thing now is to just plug in the remaining 2 things. One of them will be plus 5. What can you guess the other one is? Plus 4. Now, if I were to FOIL that out, I am going to get x squared plus 9x plus 20. All right, let's look at another one. 9 plus 10n plus n squared. So do we remember what the first thing I need to do is? Make sure it's in order. Is this in order? No, so tell me what I need to do to make it in order.
Switch 9 squared. Switch 9 squared.
So what should I get? Okay, so tell me what I get.
N squared
Okay.
plus 10.
Okay? So now, I always start, remember, and work backwards. So I'm looking for 2 factors of 9 that do what? Add up to 10.
Oh.
So what are the 2 factors of 9 that add up to 10?
9 times 1.
9 times 1, very good. So now we're going to keep working backwards. How do I get a plus 10 from the numbers 9 and 1?
Positive 9.
Positive 9 and positive 1, very good. So then now, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and jump to my parentheses. And my first term is n squared. Okay. So what does that mean is first in each of these parentheses? N. And then what will be the remaining?
Plus 9 plus 1.
Plus 9 and plus 1. Very good. Questions?
Oh, that's the answer.
That is the answer. Yep. So now let's look at this one. This one looks a little bit different. And how is it different? There's a subtraction. But we're still going to solve it the same way. So here I'm looking for 2 factors of 12 that add up to 8. What are 2 factors of 12 that add up to 8?
6 and
6 and what?
3. 3. 2.
6 and 2. Now if you get stuck, just start listing the factors. You could start listing them this way. 1, 2, 2, 6, 3, 4. Okay, so you could actually go through and list them if you get stuck. So 6 and 2. Now if I work backwards, how do I get a negative 8 from 6 and 2? Both numbers are negative. Yep, good job. So then now, I've got my 2 parentheses. First term in each parentheses is x. What will come next?
Minus 6 and minus 2.
Minus 6 and minus 2. So far, so good? All right, I want you to try this one for me. Okay, you try this one for me and we'll see how you do. Okay, so the first thing you should have done is put this in order. And so you get m squared minus 22m plus 21. And so then when you factor this, you should have gotten m minus 21 times m minus 1. Okay. So now let's look at another one. Now this one is different. Now how is this different than the other ones we've looked at?
It's signs different.
It's the signs, yep. And so we're going to go through the same exact process we did before. We're just going to change one of the words we said. Okay. So we look at the last number. So 2 factors of 15. Now if you remember, it used to be 2 factors of 15 that add to the middle number. But we're not going to say they add to. We're going to say they differ by. So 2 factors of 15 that differ by 2, and I already heard somebody say it, 3 and 5. So those are 2 factors of 15, they differ by 5. Now what I'm going to do is attach positive and negative signs, so I get a positive 2. How can I get a positive 2 if I put positive and negative signs with the 3 and the 5?
Negative 3, positive 5.
Negative 3 and positive 5. Would you agree if I added negative 3 and positive 5, I get 2? Okay. So then now I'm still going to do the exact same thing I did in the previous problem. First term here is x times x.
X minus 3.
Yep.
X plus 5.
X minus 3, x plus 5. Very good.
Does it matter what order the 3 and the 5 go?
Nope. So if you had x plus 5 times x minus 3, that would still be correct. Yes. Can't have x plus 3 times x minus 5. Okay, has to be whatever that middle term adds to. Let's look at another one. Okay, x squared minus 7x minus 18. So let's start by working backwards. Two factors of 18 that differ by 7. So what are two factors of 18 that differ by 7? 9 and 2. Now is when I'm going to attach a positive and a negative sign. Okay, so how can you get a negative 7 from 9 and 2? Positive 2. Very good. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump to my quantities. And what do I get?
X minus 9, X plus 2.
X minus 9, X plus 2. Very good. Questions? I want you to try this one for me. Okay? You try this one for me. Okay, so two factors of 48 that differ by 13. You should have gotten 16 and 3. Okay? Positive 16, negative 3. So you should have had y plus 16 times y minus 3. Alrighty, so you know what? We're going to continue with this. Notice it says day 2. So if you want to get started on your homework, here you go on page 507. I need you to do 12 through 29. Okay? Page 507, 12 through 29. We will continue with this section tomorrow. And a little bit about this section. It is crucial that if there's something you don't understand here, you have to get in and get it taken care of. Okay? So, if you have any questions, make sure you come in and ask.
So will we